in this video, I'm going to cover three things today. Okay, I'm going to go through this relatively quickly because it's so jam-packed with value today that you won't believe it. So, the first thing we're going to cover is my entire strategy broken down step by step on LinkedIn. Okay, so you can also follow and implement it. The second thing I want to share is my exact method to help you identify the in-market leads on LinkedIn right now they're thinking of or considering to purchase a solution similar to yours. And the third thing I'm going to cover today is our brand new offer. And I'm so excited about this because no one else is doing this in our niche right now. Is my specific process to help you build a really strong personal brand and a really powerful content machine through custom AI. Okay, so you can scale quickly, scale your client acquisition. Now, essentially, once I go through this, you'll see that we are able to leverage custom AI to essentially get better results, way better results, 10 times better results without doing the work, without all the heavy lifting. And it will also help you to save so much more money, right? So you don't have to actually spend money on paid ads. You don't have to hire a content freelancer, ghostwriter, or content agency. Like, it actually gives you way better results. So I've spent a lot of time researching, engineering, working hard on this. And finally, we have this. Okay, we have finally launched it. And it's so cutting edge that no one else is doing this right now in this niche. So I'm so excited to share this one with you in detail. All right, so let's dive in. We're going to go through them one by one. Now, before I start on the first aspect, I do want to mention if you are a professional coach or a B2B consultant or a service-based business owner, LinkedIn is definitely the best platform, okay? Hands down. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time going into that because I assume if you're already here, this is a LinkedIn-centric marketing training, you're probably already interested in LinkedIn, right? So I don't want to be taking another half an hour to talk about and elaborate why LinkedIn is the best platform, but really, if you are a professional coach, a B2B consultant, or any business owners or founders looking to work with professionals or looking to land B2B contracts, looking to work with companies, organizations, looking to, network and connect with high-level corporate decision makers, LinkedIn is the best platform, okay? Hands down. There's no even other second choice that comes close to it because of the type of audience that is abundant and active on LinkedIn. Okay, so that's the conclusion I want you to remember. And then let's look at the specifics. Now, I want to take around 2 minutes here to talk about the high level strategy of our LinkedIn marketing approach, and also something that you should also be aware of, okay, of the current landscape right now that you're facing. Now, there's two organic methods on LinkedIn when it comes to organic marketing, okay, and this also applies to all the other social media platforms. So there's two types, okay? The first one is outreach, right? I mean, this one is very straightforward. You probably already have done this before or heard it a million times elsewhere, but outreach is you identify someone that looks like your ideal clients or you think they're your dream customers, and you would just reach out to them, right? You would reach out to them, try to start a conversation, and then lead them to book a call from there. And then when you talk to them, you convert a percentage of those people, right? So that's outreach. Now, second is content. Content, again, we all know it's been a very popular method for the last 2 decades. You post a piece of content on LinkedIn, and hopefully someone sees your content, likes it, and then reaches out to you, and you have a conversation, and that person becomes a client, right? So that's really the two high-level strategies here. Now, I do want to talk about here because you need to understand those two choices, right? So if you were to do organic LinkedIn marketing, those are the two choices, okay, two options. Other than that, it will be paid ads. Now, the biggest mistake, though, what I'm seeing people are doing is they're not able to use both of those strategies in an intentional and strategic way that helps them maximize their marketing results on LinkedIn. Now, specifically, what I mean by that is I've noticed most of our clients, even other LinkedIn services out there, okay? For example, outreach agencies, LinkedIn content coaches, like even most of those people don't use both strategies together, okay? They don't use both outreach or content together. They're just picking one, right? Like that's just one. Either they're just focusing on outreach, a bunch of outreach agencies out there, that's the only thing they do. That's all they do. They just do outreach, or they just do content, right? Like it's all about content. There's nothing to do in outreach. So You should not only be focusing on one or the other, okay? Because when you do that, you're not going to be able to get the best results. Now, why? Why is it a mistake? Because if you focus on only one, you only get partial results guaranteed. Okay, let me show you that. So, for outreach, what you're doing here is you're really using outreach to target an in-market lead. Now, let me backtrack a little bit. So let me spend 30 seconds here to talk about the two different types of leads you're going to encounter on LinkedIn. So the first type is in-market, okay? People who are already thinking of buying something. So for example, if I am in market for a health coaching, fitness coaching service, I'm already thinking about it, right? Like I already know I need it. I know it's important. I'm comparing different vendors, and I'm talking to, three different fitness experts, and I'm trying to choose the best one. And if I choose the best one, I'm ready to purchase and move forward, right? So that's what I'm referring to as an in-market lead. They're already thinking of buying and researching about a solution right now. Okay, so that's the first type. That's always the minority, though, mind you, by the way. It's always around 3 to 5% of any industry. Okay, so it's always the minority, but they're ready, essentially. The second type here is a nurture lead. Now, they're definitely interested in your offer, right? They're interested and they're going to purchase, but not right now, due to various reasons. The two most common reasons are number one, trust, right? Like they don't really know you yet. They don't know if you're the best person. They don't really trust you yet. They're still in that discovery process. And the second reason here is timing, right? Like, yes, they're interested, but there is something more pressing right now. It's not as urgent. It's not their priority number one. So they could be, purchasing later, but timing is not right now. Okay, so that's the second type, which is a nurture lead. Now you have to approach these two different types of leads using different marketing methods, right? Because for a market lead, outreach is definitely the easiest, fastest, and therefore the best way to convert them, right? Because they're already interested. They don't need to sit through your content before feeling ready to talk to someone. They're already trying to choose a vendor. So outreach is definitely the best way. It's the fastest. And for the rest of the market, this is definitely the nurtured audience, is definitely the rest of the market, the majority of it, over 90% typically of any market. Content is the best way to convert them, right? Because the need to be nurtured, the need to build that trust first, and the need to be constantly reminded why you are the best provider when the timing is right down the road, then they come to you, right? So content is definitely the best way to convert our nurtured audience. So now with that context in mind, it's very easy to see if you just focus on only one method, right? If you just focus on either just do outreach or just do content, then you're not going to get the entire pie, right? You're only going to get partial results while leaving the huge rest cash on the table, right? So if you just do content, you will really miss out the in-market leads, right? And that's when you can get a client tomorrow. That's when you can get a client next week, right? Because they convert quickly once they know that you're the best person. Now, the best provider. Now, if you just do outreach, then yeah, sure, you can get a client tomorrow, you can get a client in 2 or 3 weeks. But what about the rest of the market that could convert later, right? So you're really not, nurturing them, and you're giving that huge market share to your competition, right? Who is actually patient and who is nurturing them with effective content. So ends up you will only get a fraction of the results that you could have gotten and not really the entire pie, right? While leaving a ton of money on the table. So you have to combine both outreach and content together in order to maximize your results on LinkedIn. Okay, so now you might wonder, well, if I do both, what do I do first? What do I do second? What is going to be the right order? Now, if you think about this strategically, the best approach, which is what we focus on, is we definitely recommend you first start with outreach and you focus on outreach. Okay, because it's faster, right? It's faster for you to get results. Content does take a little bit, right? Because you have to build a following. So you have to be somewhat patient with content. But it does pay off huge dividends in the long term. So we don't want you to wait and wait a month or two before your content starts kicking in, right? We want you to focus on getting a client tomorrow and be able to get some fast momentum. So in order to do that, you want to focus on outreach first, right? To capture the in-market leads who are ready to talk, who could be converted tomorrow, right? And build a consistent monthly basis of cash, revenue, and clients first, right? So you can afford the time and energy to really, make a content machine work for you. And then once you have that, once you establish that monthly consistent base, then you can use content, right, as the medium to long-term strategy to nurture and convert the rest of the market, right? So that's what I typically recommend. This is what I was talking about as the LinkedIn flywheel model. So here's the flywheel. Let me kind of walk you through in detail here. So you will start and focus on LinkedIn outreach first, right? Because you need some results, right? You need to get a client. And this will help you, again, establish a nice base, maybe 2 or 3 clients, a month. And you are maybe, depending on how much you charge for your service, maybe you're already making a nice 10K, 20K, 25K, right, per month. So you have the money and you have the patience and the time to nurture through content, right? So that's what you're going to start with, and that will help you get in-market clients relatively quickly. That will help you to establish this consistent base per month, right? By capturing and converting those in-market buyers. And then at the same time, when you're doing this, you are doing targeted outreach, and you're also building a network of buyers, right? You're growing a bigger and bigger network of buyers over time, right? Because you're connecting with them, right? You're reaching out to them. So your network is not, super small anymore, right? It's always growing, it's growing, it's growing with the right people of your ideal clients, right? Because you're not going to reach out to random people. So, and this part could all be nicely automated. You can also do that manually, either option is fine. And once you are mastering outreach and you're building a bigger network, then you can use content, right, to nurture the rest of the market, right, to nurture everyone that's not buying right now, not buying today, but could be buying later, right? So then you will be able to get more nurture clients to convert in the long run and build that flywheel that's going to compound your results over time, right? And by over time, what I'm talking about is typically a couple months. All right, so that's really the flywheel I want to explain to you in detail. Now, this is how you can ensure you can get the best results and make sure nothing is left on the table, okay? So now what we're going to do here is we're going to talk about the outreach process, okay, how you can use targeted outreach to help you identify in-market leads. And then I'm going to talk about how can you scale your content using custom AI. Okay, so let's talk about outreach. Now, the strategy here in the outreach piece is we help you target in-market leads, okay? You don't just kind of have a shotgun approach and just, spray and pray and hope someone you reach out to is interested, right? And that's spamming people. We definitely don't want to be spamming people or seeing us desperately chasing leads, right? We want to take a really refined and sophisticated approach that actually helps you identify people who are interested in buying right now. So this is our approach, okay? My approach is called the signals first outreach method. Now, let me kind of show you what does this mean, this funnel here, okay, to help you identify in-market leads. Now, it's very simple. I'll explain them one by one. The first thing here is you need to build a simple lead magnet, okay? We'll show you exactly how to do that, but it's very simple. You can take care of that in less than a day. And it's typically a free resource, right? Whether it's a free guide, a free PDF that talks about something of value, teaches your audience something new, give them value, prove that you're credible, you know what you're talking about, right? And towards the end of the lead magnet, you will invite them to book a call with you, right? And you would have an embedded link, a calendar link embedded towards the end of this, let's say, for example, a free guide that they can click and book a call with you, okay? So first we'll create a lead magnet, and then you're going to start the outreach process on LinkedIn. So the first step here is you're going to send people an invite, right? Your ideal clients. We target who looks like your ideal clients on LinkedIn, and you approach them, you send them an invite to connect. In that invite, you will mention your free resource, right? So an example like this. Now, just to clarify, this is obviously a real, client message is working really well right now, but obviously it's going to be a different offer, a different niche, right? So yours, of course, will be different, but I just want to show you the principle used here, okay? Hi, name. For example, hi, Rachel. I noticed you're in senior management leading the commercial development team at AXR Software. I have a free guide on building motivated teams that run themselves. Happy to share if you would find it valuable, James. Okay, a very short, professional, value-driven invite message. Now, if I were the person on the other end that's receiving this invite, right, If I'm not in market and this is totally irrelevant to me and I'm just not interested in this topic at all, I'm not going to accept this invite, right? I would decline it, of course, right? But this is why I was talking about signals first. This is going to be the first buying signal. If you send out this invite and they actually accepted it, meaning that they're actually interested in what you promised to send them, right? They're actually interested in this free resource. For example, if I'm accepting this invite, then yes, I find this relevant. I'm interested in getting a free resource on building motivated teams that run themselves, right? So then that's going to be the first buying signal. So once they accept your invite, now you're connected, right? This person is your new connections on LinkedIn, and you can message them directly. So then you will message them delivering that free resource, right? Send over that free guide, not asking anything, right, in return. And really over deliver value in your free guide. So here's an example of a lead magnet, right? This is a free guide. So in this guide, I really over deliver in value. I tell them my exact system. And then towards the end, you can also see there is an embedded link that they can click to book a call with me, right? So this is actually the embedded link, the call to action, inviting them to book a call with you is the second buying signal, right? If the consumer content, they clicked at that link and the booked appointment with you, then pretty much they're telling you that, hey, I'm really interested in this, right? Like I'm in the buying mode, I'm in market, right? Otherwise, why would them be booking a call with you? Why would them be going through that content if it's not relevant to them, right? If they're not actually thinking of purchasing something similar to that, they would not book a call with you. So in this way, there's a couple benefits, okay, to this approach. First, obviously, we just discussed that, which is helping you to identify the in-market leads, okay? So if they're not interested, again, they will not accept your invite. Secondly, they're definitely not going to take the time to go through your content and actually book a call with you, okay? So they're definitely going to be in market. And secondly, in this way, you are going to be able to build more trust with them, right? And then they're going to show up as a more educated prospect, right? Because now instead of you looking like a total stranger to them, and very much the same as one of the next 10 person that's trying to pitch them, you actually have credibility, right? Because they have, again, consumed your content. They know you now. They know you know what you're talking about, right? So they're going to show up to the sales call much more educated, probably also pretty much pre-sold, right? If your lead magnet is actually good and doing the right job, and pretty much botting as you being the authority in this domain, right? And the third benefit here is you're also not going to be seen as desperately chasing leads, right? And this will help you keep your positioning high as a premium coach or consultant or an expert in your area. And lastly, this is very important. You are doing targeted outreach, but you're not spamming people, right? You're not spamming people because you are sending something of value that then already told you, yes, I want this, right? They're already requesting it. You're just sharing value with them. So those are a few benefits, and that will help you to quickly identify in-market leads that you can convert. Now, in this section, we will help you obviously establish the entire process, okay? And by the end of it, if you want to automate it, you can automate it. If you don't want to, you can also do it manually because it's not too much a day. You can definitely manage that. So either way, you can do it. But essentially, we're going to help you to build your lead magnet in less than 24 hours. Okay, it's actually a very similar process, a very simple process. And we'll also help you to hyper-personalize your messages and also your follow-up sequence. Okay, so not only now you're sharing value proactively, but you're also sharing value coupled with a highly personalized approach. Okay, so that's literally the exact opposite of spamming people, which the definition is you're sending generic messages to everyone, right? And again, we can also help you to integrate the system once we set it up to automate it. So let's talk about the content side. I'm so excited about this. I've been working so hard on this for over a year, so it's finally here. Now, it's so cutting edge because I don't see anyone else doing it in this niche. And it's going to completely change your results, probably 10 times your results, with much less time required and work required from your end, and also much less expensive. Okay, so you don't have to hire a content agency or a ghostwriter or freelance writer to write it for you. You can have high quality, top performing posts authentic to your voice. Okay, and I'll prove all of that to you in just a little bit. So yeah, here we're going to talk about how can you build a powerful content machine through custom AI on LinkedIn to scale your client acquisition organically. All right, so again, we already talked about this before, right? We previously, with the targeted outreach, we are using that to identify a market audience, which is always going to be the minority of any industry, right? Typically, it's 3 to 5% of any market, so it's always the minority. Sure, a market audience is nice. They're thinking of purchasing. That's why we, focus on them first, right? Because it's a faster way for you to get a client. But in the long term and also in the medium term, you should be thinking about how can you dominate the rest of the market of your nurtured audience, because that's the majority, right? That's over 95% of any market. So if you are not having any content presence here, if you're not having an effective strategy to convert all of this nurtured audience in a way that's effective and turn them into your paying clients, then you're really giving up a huge market share. And over time, the business and brand will slowly become less competitive, right? Because your competition is likely trying to master it as well. So that's why it's so important, okay? This one is the holy grail of any marketing because it allows you to be able to have organic scale, right? Because we always hear about, scale through paid advertising, but that's very expensive. That really eats into your profit margin. So the nicest thing in the marketing world is to be able to scale quickly through organic traffic, right? So this is the key here. If you master this, you should be able to have organic scale. So now let's talk a little bit more about the benefits of creating a really powerful content machine and have a strong personal brand. Okay, so again, this, I think, we kind of already alluded to this before, but just a very quick summary. So the first thing here is obviously through effective content, you're going to be able to attract many inbound leads, right? And inbound leads is what we want. Why? Because we are not chasing them to come to us. It's way easier. And also, one nice thing about inbound leads is they're typically much more educated, right? They're educated. They know who you are. They know you're credible. They kind of see you as an authority, right? They have likely already consumed many of your content. So they know your offer. They know your background. You don't have to start from scratch to build trust with them every single time like you have to with other people, right? That doesn't really know about you. So you have to explain to them who you are, your credibility, your track record every single time from scratch. And that's pretty exhausting, right? I think if you repeat that for like over 100 leads. But educated leads is the opposite. They kind of already know you, right? And a lot of times that already bought in you as the authority, right? So it's going to be a much easier sales conversation, right? Because they already have context and information about you. They're educated. So this is also a relevant point here I do want to mention is that's why everyone is so excited about building a personal brand with a loyal following, right? Because if you look at all the big names, all the gurus out there in this space, they all have a huge following, right? Because those people, their following will buy whatever the offer, right? They don't even need to be in the same niche or industry. They can completely change to a different domain, have a new offer, and those people will still buy. Then are convinced you are the expert, right? They buy in you. So, and lastly, this will also help you keep your premium positioning, right? If you are just another person chasing them, usually pricing is the number one consideration for people, right? So that's really a rush to the button. But if you have inbound leads kind of already convinced that and already pre-sold of your expertise, then you're able to command a much higher and much more premium rate for your services. Okay, so now I do want to spend 1 minute here to talk about why most people fail with their content strategies, because everyone understands how important content is. But only very few can actually do it effectively, right? Consistently. So those are the top reasons. First is I don't know what to write about. I just don't know what to write about. I understand content is important, but I don't know what to write about, right? Because you do need many ideas to be able to have consistent output, right, every single day. Now, secondly, I don't have time to write. I have a business I have to run. I have to do service delivery. I have to conduct sales calls. I have to focus on marketing. I just don't have time to write content, right? Especially if it has to be frequent, if I'm producing content like daily. I just don't have time for that. Now, third, I hear very often is how do I ensure consistent quality in every post, right? Because this is also key. You can't have very fluctuating quality in your content. It has to be reasonably and relatively consistent and high quality across the board every single day, right? Because for example, if you are following someone online and you like their, first initial post, you like that, but then afterwards you start to notice that their results or their quality of content's decline. And then it's always a roller. You never know what you can expect, right? It's like one day it's good, the other day it's bad. So it's actually going to hurt your brand reputation. It's not going to help. So you have to ensure that for pretty much every post, 95% of all your content has to hold up to a really high quality, a really high standard. And that's tough for most people. Now, the last thing here I hear is I don't want to pay a freelancer or content agency to do it for me. Now, price obviously is the number one objection. They tend to be very expensive. Just to kind of share a little bit more about, that landscape, right? So if you are looking for pretty frequent content, let's say, 5 days a week, which is pretty much what you need right now, if not 7 days a week, but if you require that, most quality content agencies will charge you at least $4,000 or more, okay? Typically in the range of 4 to 6K per month as a monthly retainer. So that's obviously very expensive, very, very expensive, right? And also there's a few other concerns I hear related to this, which is, typically when I work with, ghostwriters, content agencies, they have a very long iteration period, meaning that they send me a post and I give them my opinion, what to change, what to add it, how to make it better. It takes them days, if not a week, to send back the revised version. So it's too long, right? The feedback cycle is too long to make it sustainable for you. And lastly, what I hear as also a top concern is it's not reflecting the content in my style. It's not authentic to my voice, right? Because someone else wrote it for you and they have no idea who you are, right? So a lot of that is just many, many variables that prevent most business owners really succeed with content and also be able to build organic scale through content. Now that stops today, okay? That stops today fully, completely, because we have a brand new revolutionary strategy that will change all of that. Okay, will make all of this irrelevant. So our solution is a brand new advanced custom AI system specific to LinkedIn. Okay, not for any other social media platforms, specific for just LinkedIn. They can help you write high converting content in seconds. Okay, it will write as many pieces as you want on any preferred topics you want, authentic to your voice, and that's trained by our proprietary data sets of viral content that has been proven to be high performing and high converting on LinkedIn. Okay, it's being trained with thousands of highly conversion optimized posts. Okay, that's why I was working so hard and it took me over a year, because there's a lot of data, a lot of training that needs to occur before to make sure it's really highly effective. So now, after introducing our system, I do want to share a formula, okay, to everyone that's looking to scale through content. Now, this formula is content scaling organically equals to consistent quality, that's number one, plus volume or frequency. Okay, consistent quality, we all understand it, it's very straightforward. Volume, this just refers to how frequent you post. Okay, like how much output you have in content, right? Like for example, are you posting daily? Are you posting every single day, including weekends, or just 5 days a week? Are you doing once a week? Are you doing 3 times a week, right? Like all of that. So let's go through them one by one. Let's look at the content quality first. So I want to show an example. Okay. Again, as I mentioned before, consistent quality is key. Okay. You can't have one good post, another very average post, and then another terrible post, the following day, right? Like that's actually gonna hurt you. That's gonna hurt your brand and your reputation. So if you do that, I'd rather not do it. Okay. So you really do need to prioritize consistent quality across the board. So I'm gonna show you an example that's generated by our AI system. So before showing you, just a few things to note, okay? This is just one of the frameworks. So we have many frameworks trained. This is just one of them, okay? In the personal transformation story category, a very common type of content. This is just an example because it's an example modeled from my topic, from my experience, okay? Your offer, your niche, your audience will be different. So your post, your output will be different. This is just an example for a demonstration. All right, so let's see. The power of persistence, how I pushed through early struggles as a coach. When I first started my coaching business, I thought I had it all figured out. I was wrong. For a month, I chased a brilliant idea that went nowhere. I tried positioning myself to help 9-to-5 professionals launch coaching businesses. It seemed perfect, scalable, and in demand. But you know what? I made almost no money, zero traction, zero clients, and just wasted a ton of time and energy. It was brutal. I questioned everything, but I refused to give up. Instead of quitting, I pivoted. I went back to what I knew best, helping other coaches get clients through LinkedIn. I doubled down, I worked harder, refined my approach, and slowly things started clicking. Within a year of that pivot, I hit 100K per month. The lesson here, persistence isn't about stubbornly sticking to a failing strategy. It's about being relentless in pursuit of your vision, even when the path changes. It's showing up every day, learning from setbacks, and continue to improve. Success rarely happens overnight. It's built on a foundation of small wins and lessons learned from failures. So if you're struggling right now, remember, your breakthrough might just be around the corner. Keep pushing, keep learning, keep growing. The only true failure is giving up. What setbacks have you overcome in your business journey? I would love to hear your stories of persistence. If you enjoy this, repost it and follow me here on LinkedIn. And if you want one proven system every Tuesday on how to scale organically on LinkedIn, join my email list here, embedded link. So this is a post under the category of personal transformation story. Okay, so this is more for motivational purposes, and it's just one type of framework. Now, the reason, honestly, this one is maybe not perfect, right? Maybe not 10 out of 10 if you were to score it from 0 to 10, but I would say this is like better than 80% of my manually created content before. This is a solid 7 or 8. Okay, it's like better than 90% of the content out there on LinkedIn. The reason it's better is because it's being trained on a proven content framework that's worked many times before. It's proven to be high performing, right? It's following a certain framework. So this is the framework that it's following. Now, feel free to steal it. We're going to go through this pretty quickly. The first one is a hook, right? A good hook that challenges expectations or creates curiosity. The second layer is you talk about the problem. You identify the problem that outlines a clear struggle with specific details, right? So before and after the comparison, this is really before. And then we talk about my turning point, right? The moment that I had the epiphany that pretty much everything changed. And then I talk about resolution, right? A clear, measurable result. This is, again, the after, if you're doing a before and after comparison. And the core lesson, right? Teaching something new to your audience. Share something of value. So the main takeaway for others to remember, right? And then application in the real world. How readers can actually take this lesson, apply it in their life, and how they can use this, right? Lastly is the call to action. So this helps you to turn your traffic into appointments, which we'll talk about this more in detail later. So, it's working because we have proven frameworks it follows, and it will be able to come up with creative iterations of the same framework, right? Every single time. So it looks and feels different. And it's also authentic to your voice. So I love this one, and I just wanted to show this one to you. Now, we talked about consistent quality, right? So AI is the best thing to make sure we have consistency because it's a robot, right? It doesn't sleep, it doesn't get sick, it doesn't have like ups and downs every day, right? It's like that every single day. So, and this is also not any, other robotic or generic AI tools, right? That can just give you generic and not specific content. This has been trained specific to the coaching, consulting, and service based business in LinkedIn based on all the high performing frameworks, over hundreds of them right now that we're using to train. So, because we talked about quality and volume, now I want to actually talk a little bit more about the volume, okay, which is how frequent you post. Now, the nature of content conversion is more content, okay, more volume, and more frequent you post equals to more reach, right? More people will see it. And ultimately equals to more clients, right? So remember this, okay? This is a takeaway. One post that is a perfect one, that's a 10 out of 10, will do much worse than 7 posts that are 7 or 8. Okay, so you want consistency and you want the volume, right? You don't want to be sitting there and produce maybe 1 post a week that you feel so good about. It's perfect. It's not going to do much over time. Then 7 or 8, posts a week. That's consistent. That's relatively reasonably good. Okay, so let me actually prove this to you with numbers. This is actually very simple, by the way. I'll explain this one by one to you. So let's say if you have 1 post, right? Your output per week is 1 post. And typically, let's assume if you have like 500 connections on LinkedIn, okay? Typically, when you post a piece of content, around 20% of your following, of your network will see it. Okay, so 20%. Let's say because your content is perfect, right? It's 10 out of 10. It reaches more than the industry average of 20%. It reaches 30%, okay? And that's to be expected. So 30% of 500 connections is 150, right? So 150 reads your perfect post, okay? So you have a reach of 150 people in your audience. Now, let's say you have, you post daily, okay? You have, like, including weekends, 7 posts. And your 7 posts are, reasonably quality. Maybe they're not perfect. Maybe they're a 7 or 8 out of 10, right? So it performs, based on the industry average, around 20% would be able to reach 20% of your network. So 20% of your 500 connections right now is 100 people, right? 100 people reached per post times 7 posts. That's 700 people reached, okay? So look at this, right? Compare them, 150, 700, that's 5 times difference, okay? Almost 5 times of difference. And that's just even in 1 week. So assuming around 1% of your audience that are reading your post would convert, right? I mean, convert just by, doing the whatever call to action you're asking them to do, whether it's booking a call, click this link to opting, whatever call to action you have, 1% will take it, okay? Again, this is actually a little bit lower than industry average. If you look, most credible sources will cite around 2 to 5%, but let's just say, conservatively 1%, okay? So 1% times 700 people reached, right? If you're posting 7 times a week, that's 7 actions taken, right? Again, if you're asking them to book a call, that's 7 calls per week booked. Versus if you are, only able to reach 150 people, that's 1.5 calls per week booked, right? So again, 6 times difference now. So this all could be easily proved with math, okay? And you will know this is all, a reality essentially right now. It's a business reality of more content, the more frequent and composed, assuming reasonable quality, equals to more reach, right? Equals to ultimately more clients. So what's more interesting, more exciting about this is this content flywheel has a compounding effect over time, okay? And let me explain that. Again, also very simple, because of your average efforts we mentioned before, right? Like you were conducting targeted outreach, right? Reaching out to your ideal clients and connecting with them and growing your network. Because of that, you're always growing your network of buyers, right? You're not having like a static same number of people that's connected to you on LinkedIn, right? It's always connecting with new people, and more people are now looked in your network, right? So you always have a growing network of buyers. Let's say, for example, a month ago, let's take the same number, you have 500 connections. today, right? A month later today, maybe you have like 800 connections because of your outreach efforts, right? You're able to grow. And then let's say a month later from now, you have 1,000 connections, right? You have grown from like 800 to 1,000. So that is easily proving to you that your content flywheel will have compounding effects over time. Why? Because a month ago, when you have like 500 connections, 7 posts a week times 100 reached per post, the same assumption, right, from the previous slide, just 20% reached. That is 700 people reached per week, right? Again, a 1% conversion rate, 7 actions taken, whether it's 7 opt-ins to somewhere or 7 calls booked, whatever, right? Today, right, if you have 800 connections, because of your outreach, your network is getting bigger. So still 7 posts times 150 now, right? You see, because it's 20% times 800 connections. I actually have a typo here. It should be 200, right? Like 20% times 800 should be 200 actually. But, let's say 200, and that's 1,400 people reached, right? So you see, right? Like you are always starting at a bigger base number now. So even assuming you keep the same content, same frequency, but because your network is always growing, you're always starting at a bigger base number, and your results will always be getting bigger and bigger, right? And this is just within 1 month, right? See, like now at the same conversion rate of 1%, now you have 10 actions taken, right? Now, I'm not saying like you're going to be able to get this like overnight or right away or even just in 1 month, because it does take time to build, right? Like you do have to spend the time to do the outreach. You do have to use our system to automate and create your content. You do have to spend time to do that as a system. But I'm just showing you the potential that can come from this, which is really exciting, right? It's really real compounding effects that could be proved with all the specific numbers here. All right, so the other aspect here is a huge benefit. I think most of us maybe overlook a little bit is with our AI system, right? It's way cheaper, right? It's basically free. If you join our program, it's free for you to use. It's free. And you also have more control, right? Because the output will be specific to your tone of voice. It will be authentic to your style versus some other people, maybe a ghostwriter or a content agency that will take a month to even, master your voice, right? Because it didn't know you before. I also mentioned before around I didn't mark the price here, but around 2 to 3K, okay? If you were to hire an external content agency, if they were to give you just 2 or 3 posts a week, right? So basically you get less, you have less volume of content because they do 3 posts a week versus our daily, right? And you have to wait longer. You have more risk of they're not able to really get your authentic tone, and therefore potentially even hurt your reputation, right? If they have like bad quality of content. You have less control overall, right? And also it's way more expensive because you're looking at 25K to 3K per month. That's easily $30,000 per year, right? If you add all the monthly retainer together. So it's a huge day and night difference. So especially with us, you get way better results. It's cheaper. Like it's way cheaper. Right? Of course, you still have to enroll to our program, but over time, it's not going to be $30,000. Right? So that's that. And then the last thing here is it's also less work for you, right? Because previously, if you don't hire someone, you're going to have to do it on your own, right? Or you don't do it. You just give that market share to whoever, maybe your competition, right? So if you were to want to do it, you're going to have to DIY it, which is you have to research about different content topics. You have to constantly come up with different, new ideas. By the way, our system comes up with all the content topics for you, gives you all the ideas. So you don't even have to think about it. Right, so if you were to DIY that, you have to research, you have to come up with content topics, you have to actually outline the structure, you have to actually write it, produce it, and then post it. Right, it's like that's easily 10 hours a week. I'm being really even conservative about it. So 10 hours a week, but for us, it automates the entire research, content idea coming up, right, and actual writing. So it's just a few clicks away, and we give you the complete planning process. You can just copy and paste. So this is really time spent, way less time, way less work for you. Okay, so again, that's why I was saying it will more than 10 times your results because you're consistently showing up now with content every single day, right? And it's way better business results overall, less money. It's not even comparable, and a huge decline in work and and your time spent. So now the last thing here, I want to spend a few more minutes to talk about this, and then we will wrap this up. So the last thing here I want to talk about is, yes, we are going to be able to, and that's how, think about it. Before, building a strong personal brand and create a very powerful content machine is nearly impossible, right? If you don't have the time to create everything on your own, because if you do that manually, it's going to be a constant hamster wheel. Or you just have to have deep pockets. You hire someone, right? Like that were the previous like two common ways to be able to establish your personal brand and have a content machine working, right? But now it's available to everyone, right? And you can pretty much you can get that much faster. So now I just want to say traffic for your content doesn't just equal to clients and revenue, okay? Just because you have eyeballs looking at your content and you have traffic, it doesn't equal that. You do need a system to convert them, okay? So specifically, you need a system to first move your content traffic off LinkedIn into your world, right? Like somewhere you control and you own, because if they're just constantly on LinkedIn, that's also not ideal, right? Because LinkedIn, they can be not active on LinkedIn. That's the first thing. And secondly, LinkedIn can change their algorithm anytime, right? Like any little things, right? So you want security and long-term security. So you want to move them off LinkedIn and ideally into your world, typically your email list that you own, right? And you can manage and you can repeatedly market and nurture to them in the future. That's a long-term asset you own. And you also want to turn them into paying clients, right? Secondly, you need a system to convert those traffic into paying clients quickly, right? So this is what we do. This is our proven funnel. So very simple, okay, 3 steps. First is when you post content, right? Towards the end, you always have the same call to action, which is inviting them to join your email list, right? So offer something that's specific and enticing to them. There's free tips, there's valuable resources, get my guide, right? That's when your previous lead magnet comes into play, because you can offer that. It's already created. So you would invite people to join your email list. So in this way, you move them off LinkedIn. Now they're into your email list that you own in the long term, right? Then the second step here is then you invite them and then go to your page, because you would embed the link in your content. They click that, go to your email list opt-in page, and that's when the opt-in, right? Now you are quickly growing your email list while still being able to convert your content traffic into appointments. So how do you do that? It's the last step. Now, once the opt-in, on the same opt-in page, you are going to have a invite to invite them to book a call with you. Okay, so we outline the benefits. What are you going to specifically include and walk them through on the call, and then invite them to book a call. The ones who are interested will book a call with you, and then you have appointments. It's all automated, right? So here's a few benefits here. Again, you are building a long-term asset of your email list, right? Like you're quickly growing that. You're moving people from LinkedIn into your world. And secondly, by having this third step here, now you're also able to capture the traffic and turn them into appointments, right? And you will also, so if they're interested, they book a call with you, right? But if they're not interested on the same opt-in page, they don't book a call with you, but they have already confirmed to opt in to your email list. So then you have inbound leads that stay on your list for future nurturing. Right? So either way you win. You see that? Either way you win. Either they book a call if they're interested, which is great, or they don't, and then just stay on your email list, right? And then you can always nurture them and market to them in the future. So you never lose. So that's really the complete system I want to walk you through. You have likely already booked a call with our team, so we'll definitely discuss the details of our program and how you can potentially work with us. And I appreciate you watching this entire presentation, and we really look forward to connecting with you on the call. All right, see you on the other end.